It's simple, really. Don't shit where you eat.
I'm gonna tell you this once. It's over. You drop it. You don't shit where you eat. And you really don't shit where I eat.
I know. And I'm sorry.
Well, it seems simple, and yet it's quite a bit more complicated than this. So, we live in a time where everything is so fast. The information travels in real time. There's no time for thinking, editing, or anything on social media. Everything comes out straight up. So nowadays, for singers in 2015, we ask them to play with social media. We tell them to connect. We tell them to put themselves out there. And then we have one little problem with this, is that very often youth and talent comes with arrogance. And so people put stuff out there that looks a certain way to them and looks a complete different way to the people watching them. The problem is everybody is watching. Your potential future employer, the people that will be casting the next show you're in. So how exposed are you? You gotta wonder. Think about the guys from the 50s, 60s, and the 70s. All the stars, the glories. They didn't have social media, right? Put them in a 2015 time frame. Give them one of those. Give them a Twitter account, a Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Give them all of that. Watch their opinions come to the fore. Some of them, their opinions were extreme. You gotta wonder, would they have the same career? So they tell us that life is about 6 degrees of separation. You're 6 degrees away from anybody in the planet. In the opera world, I venture to say that you're never more than 1 degree away from someone. A famous conductor, a famous director, a general director of a house. You can look it up on Facebook. Look at your friends of friends. You're only one circle away from all those guys. So think about 5 years ago. You had that fight with a soprano. It's all forgotten. She has forgiven you. Everything is fine. Life is good. Well, someone is about to cast a show now. They really like that soprano. They really like you. They remember that fight. They don't know about the resolution because there was never any public resolution. So now they're about to send the contracts. What do? You're great. She's great. But we're not sure about the chemistry. Well, guess what's going to happen? In a day and age where budgets are considerably lower than they used to be, would you take the risk? Would you take the risk of losing all the money and having your tenor or your soprano walk away because the chemistry is not there and because there are too many bad feelings? If it was me, the director, the conductor, the artistic director, I would not take the risk. So you see how not playing nice on social media can come back and haunt you in ways that you never thought were possible. It was a simple fight, really. Another thing that will haunt you, possibly, is a simple like. Sometimes people try to put a little opinion. You know, you're going to support a friend in a little bit of an argument that's nasty, and you just say like. Well, that puts you immediately in someone else's circle, and they see it, and they make an opinion out of it. So what does it come down to? Play nice, and be careful that opinions cannot be misconstrued. So the making of a career on social media is quite painstaking. It's one click at a time. It takes a while. It needs to be carefully constructed. So think about one of the biggest achievements in social media is a pianist called Valentina Lisitsa. She was credited with, I think, over 85 million hits on YouTube. That yielded a contract with Decca, a recording contract. So that put her on the map. She became quite successful, big management, big concerts all over the place. And she's running quite high, actually. So social media at their best, with a team that carefully constructs it, it works. Now, let's talk about the soprano back in Australia. She made a derogatory homophobic comment on Facebook. It was pretty bad, to be honest. But I don't think that she anticipated that he would go public at all. That's not the point. It was a terrible comment, should have never been made. But yet, it found a worldwide platform for those terrible comments to be put on. So what happened? One contract got pulled. then a second, then a third. If a career is not completely over now, it sustained a considerable slowdown. Will it be able to recover? You know what? I don't know. Remember, a while back, there was a terrible derailment on Amtrak. People died. It was terrible. It was awful. And there was a violinist on that train. First thing she did was try to go back into the car to get her violin. She could not. Second thing she did was whipping her phone and make a very, very bad comment on Twitter. It went all around. People talked about it. It made the press. I venture to say that her career will never be the same again. It was a terrible thing to say. Was it worth it? No. Did that change anything in her life? Yes, not for the best. Now, remember that pianist we talked about? Valentina Lisitsa? The most beautiful social media campaign. It was incredible. Whoever was the architect of that campaign, I would shake their hands anytime. Would love to. Then Valentina started posting things on Twitter about the war in Ukraine. It was not kind. It was not nice. It's freedom of speech, of course. But the problem is that it gives her an opinion that reflects who she might be, right? So if you're not positive, if you're nasty, if you talk about crimes against humanity, and you seem to agree with some, what's going to happen? Well, first concert got cancelled. Then a second one, and a third one.
But Ukrainian-born pianist Valentina Lisitsa was paid by Canada's Toronto Symphony Orchestra not to play. No, it's not about her skills. You've heard her work. It's about her political views.
She still has a lot of steam going, and I'm sure that her career will not come to a standing halt. But you can venture to say that people will lose faith slowly. People don't jump ship that quickly. When you're successful, they stay with you for a while, but when you become an embarrassment, slowly people lose faith, and at some point you find yourself all alone. It's probably not worth it. So remember, those stars from the 50s, 60s, 70s, would they have a career now? With the exposure we have nowadays, the political correctness that surrounds us, social media, iPhones, would they have a career? Most of them had a wild private life. That coming to the fore, no, half of them would not have a career. So it's something I call musical Darwinism. It's survival of the fittest, or the one that adapts the quickest. If you don't adapt, you die. So you need the stage exposure to make your craft be at the highest level possible. To get that stage time, you need to be nice, be kind, be considerate, have empathy for people, treat them like your family, and be fair. Then things can work. Otherwise, you're just part of the species that disappear. Musical Darwinism.